Hello everybody and welcome back to Better Minecraft. Now today we are back in the base. We are not out and about this time. You can kind of see just some icicles hanging around and there's still a bunch of snow on the ground. We are fresh out of winter. And I've actually been spending the entirety of winter gathering materials. Also, I've cleaned up this area. This area is nice and cleaned up. There's still the ladder coming up here, which eventually I do want to get rid of. Just for the time being, it's going to continue being up here. But now everything's been condensed. You can see we're kind of way into spring because of how long this took to do. But I have a whole bunch of stripped spruce. I have some mangrove wood, if you would really believe that one. That took 2 hours in game to do. Right around there. God, that was a lot of work. Okay. I also have some dripstone lamps, some spruce fences, and I'm going to be using the leaves and things today. One other thing I need to make real quick. Okay, that's over a stack of each. That's fine. Throw these in the ender chest. Sort everything out again. Okay. But yeah, everything in here is gotten cleaned up. My waystone and everything's up there. Essentially put everything away and got rid of all the clutter in there so we can more streamline everything. Today we're working over here. That's the reason I started the video. I have a wall design in place. I actually spent about an hour working on how I wanted the wall around the settlement to look. I actually still didn't collect everything. Hold on. Okay. All of our materials. Now, I do have a bit of a curve going on here. I am going to keep that. But of course, things are going to change as I go along. And yes, that looks kind of strange with that one block up there, but that's telling me where the hill starts going up. And of course, this one's going to modify as well. So that one isn't going to be just a flat wall either. And it doesn't much matter if they are flat spaces because I still have texture I have to put into these. That's the whole reason I got the mangrove wood, is because it is a darker color, but it is almost the same color. Okay, there's the first layer of texturing. And then I actually have a secondary layer as well, where I go in with a bit of this. Okay, and the bottom of that barrel actually gives a unique look to the center of that. So all of these, yes, are in brown, but this is kind of what I'm doing. Now, the tops of these are also going to be uneven. I'm going to quickly run in and do that. Okay. After initial texturing and everything, that is what that is. And then, of course, there's going to be a whole buttload of greenery climbing up the thing. It is not going to be very plain. In fact, that's actually where the mangrove roots and those lights come into play. Because in places like this, I want to have a mangrove root, but I'm going to put like a little dripstone lamp underneath it. And then use the leaves to hide the dripstone lamp. Ta-da! And the lamps are merely here to make this place spawn-proof. Because they do give off a very faint glow that is barely noticeable. Okay, so with this initial piece in place, kind of showing you guys the texturing and everything, I'm going to run around with my strip spruce and quickly place in as much of this as I can. Because for right now, I don't want to do a whole bunch of the texturing. I can come back and do the texturing. I want to get everything at least 5 blocks tall for right now. That is a massive chunk of wall. I did all of that and then went all the way up there. Now this is a continuation. These are all just 5 block pillars because I wanted them to be at least 5 blocks tall. So this means that even if I don't put the exaggerated edge on all of them, they'll still all be the height I want them to be. From the inside, at least. From the inside, I want them to all be at least 5 tall, because this makes sure that the villagers can't get out. They can't jump around it, they can't get out of it. They're kind of just stuck in here. Now, I do have to be careful digging down in this area, because originally there was a giant pit in this area, and I ended up turning it into an underground area for my waystone. So I have to be careful about where I dig. But of course, some of this area is going to be dug out. Probably going to be digging back a bit more in some of these areas and putting the wall right up against the new terrain. Now, the next bit of this is going to be getting some terraforming done. It's just basic dig up area type of terraforming. I have to get this area to be more favorable to build inside of here. Not to mention, I want to knock this entire hill down to even with this block. Because this whole hill does not need to be here. Not to mention, it's going to make it easier for me to get down to where I have to be for this one. I still have to cover that pit up. Okay, excuse the doggo, she do be barking. But there we go. That is now terraformed down. I do have plans for this area as well as the little area on top of it. This is originally where a campsite was. I plan on putting in my own personal campsite in here as well, and also fixing up all of this, you know, as time goes on. But I do plan on having like a terraforming project going on over here where I actually connect it into, like, do some landmass stuff and connect it into the wall over here. So I'm going to bring the wall over to this point. And my next video is going to be based around terraforming this and then continuing the wall. The next few episodes are going to be mainly me trying to get this wall from this end to this end, while also tackling some terraforming projects in the way. Like, there is a whole, well, hole right there. This one has to be terraformed as well. I have to fill it in and everything else like that. I have been down there. It has been explored. But I haven't filled it over the top, and this is actually where my main pathway comes out to. And I want to bring it out to connect it to maybe a few more camps, bring it that way, and connect it into eventually what's going to be another village over in this general vicinity. There's going to be an air bridge going into this area. So I have to actually get a pathway from here to there. Okay, now I've got a whole bunch of dirt in my inventory. I need to drop that off. I'm probably actually just going to take this all back to the base and go ahead and drop it all off. And then I'm going to come back and work on getting the wall to match up over there. And then we're going to finish up by texturing it. Okay, and there we go. We have a long portion of wall. And we are going to pause on this end, because next episode we're going to do a terraforming project to meld this hill into this and put an actual camp on top of that, like somebody spying in on the village. And of course we're going to cover that area in trees, and then we're going to continue the wall around that piece. But for right now, I'm going to keep maybe a stack of this on me, but not keep all of it. Drop as much of that as I can. Pick up like the barrels, the fences. We don't have another entryway on this one, so I don't think I need those or that. Definitely gonna need the barrels. And the rest of this, we're just gonna pick up the actual full shulker boxes to do this. Because it's a lot. Actually, first and foremost, we're gonna start down here anyway, so let's just keep this up. Okay, after doing all of this and seeing how long it takes me to do this, I think I'm going to finish texturing this end on camera and do some more texturing off camera. Because this is gonna take me around about 3 or 4 hours to do. And I have an entire weekend to attempt to get as much of that done as possible. I may end up leaving the middle part blank for a little bit, just the logs, and then going to the other end and going ahead and figuring out where that stuff's gonna lie and texturing that end for you guys. And just slowly chip away at this, because this is gonna take a minute. It's a whole lot of wall that is heavily detailed. Alrighty, and there we go. A fully textured out wall, lights and everything in place. Now, originally I did go with like the nether sakura leaves, which naturally have a whole lot of light on them. They actually produce light. But upon looking at it, it is so drastically different to everything else I'm doing inside the wall that it would have been too strikingly different to use them. So instead, I've opted to go with cypress and dripstone lights just barely visible below the surface. They're actually set like this to try and hide as much of the dripstone lantern as possible. Just to try and keep some form of lighting on the wall. Now, underneath each batch of the mangrove roots, there is some of the lanterns, and the mangrove roots, when you get up close, allow for some distorted visibility. It looks like it's growing straight up on like some jutting out pieces of the wall that used to be there. And of course, it climbs all the way up the wall. Now, eventually, I am actually going to take this around the wall. I'm not going to do that down here, but places like up here and right along this wall, I'll definitely be doing it. But for right now, along this side of the wall, it's too close to these houses. I have to figure out what I want to do around these houses first before I figure out where I kind of want all of this to be. But I will be definitely coming back in to detail this area because I still have to pick back up where I was beforehand, which was the pathing and doing all of that and adding in all the texture stuff and essentially just coming back in and doing all the detail work on this side of town because I kind of got sidetracked out of this side of town beforehand. So that is going to be all for this video. I know not a whole lot, but I kind of had to throw this video together. I actually had bigger plans and a lot more time, but my PC decided it wanted to not boot up earlier. So I had to almost completely take apart my PC, put it back together, still couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, and then somehow my dad magically touched it and it started working again. I don't know how it did that. I was sitting here with my mother going through every single thing that could have fixed it, and all my dad did was touch it, and it suddenly works again. I love the logic. So much logic there. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!